Good morning, good morning, good morning, Hip Politics family. We're in the midst of a federal government shutdown, and if there was ever a time to make sure that our followers, our subscribers, people who tune into the Hip Politics family, got the update. Just some quick news in the morning. Now was that time. So it's your boy, Mr. Cameron Calvin, aka Mr. Hip Politics. I just wanted to make sure and give you the top political headlines you need to know before as you're heading off to work and understanding. We're in the middle of a government shutdown, and when I say it's getting petty, it is getting petty. The Trump administration has frozen more than $26 billion in federal funds in targeted projects to Democratic led states. He was clear to say that President Trump was clear to say that, hey, I want to target those states that voted for Kamala Harris. Why does that even make sense? That means about $18 billion for New York, the transit system and infrastructure, which if you've been in New York City lately, they definitely need the help there. But he's freezing that. And then he's freezing another 8 billion earmarked for clean energy initiatives across California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. It doesn't say how much each of those projects were, but those were meant to help you, the people, help local businesses, help keep our air, water clean, lead pipe initiatives, all these different things. So he's trying to use all his powers to make sure he punishes those Democratic led states. Vice President J.D. Vance warned that federal worker layoffs could soon follow if the shutdown continues. Why does this matter to you? The freeze not only delays major infrastructure and climate investments in your local states, but it also signals the administration is using funding as a political leverage against states with Democratic leadership. Petty McJohnson, Petty McJohnson. In addition to that, here, what's another story? Let me look. What else is going on now? Congress remains gridlock as the U.S. government enters another day. It enters another day it enters another day of the shutdown. Republicans are literally out of town. The Republicans in the House of Representatives, Speaker Mike Johnson sent them out of town, so they couldn't even come back and vote on something today if they wanted to. They would all have to fly back. Senate and House of Representative leaders are locked in disputes over spending levels. They're worried about healthcare subsidies, policy writers, which that means people are trying to add all their little pet projects into the bill because they know this one bill will pass and it won't get the headline, but it might get them a law or get them some funding and delaying any forward that all that's delaying any forward motion. Agencies begin halting non-essential operations if federal workers face uncertainty. The pressure is mounting for a breakthrough. Some Republicans push for narrow bills to reopen key departments. So they're trying to pick and choose which departments they care about to open, while the Democrats insist on protecting social programs. Without agreement, more furloughs and service disruptions may expand. People are going to work right day, either with no pay or people being told to stay at home. The stakes are rising heading into next week. And most people think this is going to last at least a week. I don't know. What do you think? Drop it. Let us know in the comments. Let us know who you're blaming in the comments and who do you think controls this. I will just say the White House is controlled by Republicans. The U.S. Senate is controlled by Republicans. The House of Representatives are controlled by Republicans. Those are the three entities that are needed to create a bill to continue to fund the federal government and keep all of our systems working. So if you're wondering who to place the blame, or when you decide to vote, or when you decide to talk to your member of Congress, I'm gonna tell you right there. It tells you. I'm not gonna say who to blame, but it looks pretty obvious to me. A couple other things, like people always ask me, what does it mean when the government shuts down? I personally have been through a few different shutdowns and threats of shutdowns. I remember when I worked in Congress, we were there right New Year's Eve, and I barely made it to my New Year's Eve party because we were on the brink of a shutdown under the Obama administration. But I will say this, as a former Biden White House staffer, we avoided shutdown. This is now Trump's third shutdown, so he may be empowered to do more. But here's a quick rundown of things that affect you. Delayed tax refunds. I know tax season for everybody isn't until April, but if you're a business owner, you're filing those quarterly taxes, you may get delayed tax refunds. Federal services. National parks usually closed. Passport and benefit applications are halted. Obviously, furloughed federal employees. Hundreds of thousands of employees right now are either sitting at home or if they are deemed essential, they're going to work with no pay. The impact on small businesses. Federal contracts, loans are delayed. That leads to a lot of instability. If you have a federal contract, you are hoping and trying to time out to make sure you receive those funds. And then that's reduced oversight and regulation. We already got all types of E. coli and stuff going on with the FDA and this CDC. Well, now all those departments are stopping, so there's less federal oversight. Cat's about to run rapid, and it just overall creates just a lack of certainty and a lack of, how do I say it? I don't want to say ease. Not that when the government is running, we're all like all fine and dandy. Uh, but I will say that it does, like the Senate is expected to extend the government shutdown as a bipartisan efforts to pass funding bills continue to stall. Some Senate leaders say there's little momentum toward a compromise, leaving critical federal functions in limbo. Lawmakers remain divided over policy writers, spending levels, and conditions attached to healthcare and border funding. There was a ton of back and forth between Senate Majority Leader Thune and Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. But we'll see what happens. I'm not saying this. Oh, here, let me show you guys this other story that we noticed. So, no, I'm not saying this happened because TSA and traffic control federal workers are working, even if they're working without pay. Uh, but this is how many plane crashes under the Trump administration in just the first 9 months? Two Delta regional jets collided on a taxiway at New York LaGuardia's airport, leaving one person injured. Thank God no one was killed. The incident happened Wednesday evening when one plane's wing struck the tail of another as they were maneuvering before takeoff. Emergency crews quickly responded, and the injured person, who has not been publicly identified, was taken to a local hospital with non-life threatening injuries. Thank God. Both aircraft sustained damage, and passengers were safely deplaned without further reports of harm. The FAA has launched an investigation to determine how the collision happened. LaGuardia, one of the nation's top 10 busiest airports, briefly experienced delays, but it's resumed to normal populations. It does make it a little scary to fly when the person who's controlling all of that is not getting a paycheck. They may be a little hungrier, they may be a little more stressed. So we need to come to agreement on this government shutdown, um, and make sure we get these people back to work and try to get our government and our tax dollars working for us. So with that, that's a quick rundown of the morning. I think I'm going to bring in some other special guests over time, as we're looking to just keep you informed. I know this is a time of like a lot of misinformation and disinformation or low information, but when something as big as this is happening, it can create a lot of angst. In the meantime, I want to make sure you support the channel by going to and support it through our merch. If you see right here, see some of our hats and so forth, going to the merch store. It's you'll see right there, right on the screen, www.hip-politics.com. Get your hoodie today, get your t-shirt, hat today. Make sure you keep the movement going. And with that, we are